Emmerdale's star warns murder secret unravels as Bear suffers massive breakdown. Anyone could have killed Ray Walters. Half the village wanted him dead, and for good reason. He and his ruthless mother Celia Daniels, Jay Griffiths, exploited vulnerable teenagers April Windsor, Amelia Flanagan, and her boyfriend Dylan Penders, Fred Kettle, by forcing them into drug trafficking. When Marlon Dingle, Mark Charnock, and Rona Goskirk, Zoe Henry, tried to free their daughter from the hell she was trapped in, Ray extorted money from them in return for leaving April alone. Maintaining his facade as an upstanding citizen, he began a relationship with Laurel Thomas, Charlotte Bellamy, who fell head over heels for Ray and was horrified to discover how he made a fortune from the misery of vulnerable people. Her ex-husband Jai Sharma, Chris Bisson, wasn't thrilled either, which made it all the more suspicious when Ray's dead body turned up in the back of his van. With a rogues gallery that big, it came as a shock when Emmerdale revealed that Ray's killer was none other than Bear Wolf, especially when everyone thought he was dead. Bear had arguably the best motive of all. Ray groomed and coerced Bear into modern slavery, lit him into believing they were friends only to exploit him and force him to live in horrendous conditions. After Celia's cruel boast to Ray that she murdered him, Dylan broke the news of Bear's death to a devastated Patty, who was distraught to realize his dad suffered and died at Ray and Celia's hands just down the road. However, Bear was revealed to have survived his ordeal. When Patty's to force Ray to confess by force backfired, the dangerous drug dealer dragged Dylan into the cottage to murder him, only to get the shock of his life when Bear comes to the rescue, very much alive. Seeing Dylan in danger, Bear finally turned against his captor, broke his Stockholm Syndrome, and choked Ray to death. The murder of Ray Walters was revealed. Now, Patty's in a good news, bad news situations. Good news that his dad is alive. Bad news that he's got a murder to cover up so his father can stay out of jail. Actor Dominic Brunt describes Patty's relief to discover that reports of his dad's death were greatly exaggerated. Yeah, the relief that he's alive, and the relief that he's not been murdered by hammers at the hands of Ray. Dominic reveals. So, it's a double relief, really. I think he was feeling ridiculously guilty that Bear might have gone missing and died a while ago, and then he turns up, so I've got a great line where I go, "Dad, you're alive." Which reminds me of Gordon's Alive from Flash Gordon. But that relief is short-lived. The police are all over the village and determined to find Ray's killer. Patty and Bear didn't part on the best of terms. For a long time, Patty thought his dad had fallen out with him, when in fact he was trapped on Butler's farm as a forced laborer. Dominic Brunt explains how Patty is being driven by his greatest fear, being separated from his father again. Yeah, that's exactly what he's fearful of. He fears that his dad will go away again. He thought he was dead, and he's back. And now Bear might go down for murder. I think he trusts the judicial process, but the fact Bear is struggling so badly from what he's been through, he's heavily drugged up, he's psychologically in the midst of this Stockholm Syndrome. So Patty is really doing it to try and save his dad, and save the fact that Dylan would be implicated in it as well, because we all hid the body really. So what now? Patty's going to have to protect Bear from being done for murder, and keep their story straight to keep his dad out of jail. Their prospects look grim. But as Dominic Brunt explains, Patty is ever the optimist. I think he truly believes that they'll get through this, it'll go away and nobody will be blamed, and it'll just become a village secret. But soaps being soaps, there's got to be a moral outcome. His worst fear is that it all unravels, and, of course, I think it does. I know about 2 weeks ahead.